Hello there! This is Parenthesis, and I am back. And today we will rank all villains in Star Wars. Well, not all of them, but most of them. Like the ones I feel are the most sort of important. And basically rank all of them from worst to best. Now, this list I already know will be very controversial, and please don't get angry at me. I have an opinion, and it's really different from what most of you think. So please just pay respect to me, because this list is very different. Just don't get angry when I'm putting some of your favorite characters at the end and some of your least favorite at the because it's just my opinion. Now let's start with the video. Now this is part 1 because I don't have enough it's from number 19 to number 12. Here we go. At number 19, we have Zam Wesell from Attack of the Clones. This character, I should say, does not really capture my interests in her. She's kind of this bounty hunter and doesn't really have much of a character, and doesn't really even do anything much. However, for the part she was given, she did act as sort of a weapon for Jango Fett, and I also liked her sort of changeling, her to like that she's not actually a human and that she's a Claudite. That kind of was an interesting aspect of her character. However, she's on the last spot because overall her character just wasn't interesting enough, didn't have enough dialogue, and kind of wasn't really fleshed out or even sort of shown. At number 18, we have Zam Wesell's basically other partner, Jango Fett. Jango Fett was, of course, the other bounty hunter who killed Zam Wesell. I really like his character. However, the reason he's so low on the list is because he's just shrouded by the other characters here, because there are a lot of strong ones. But this one is a really interesting one. I really like how he just says that he's a normal man in the universe trying to find his way.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
And him just being a father with Boba, which kind of shows he's kind of just a person who's working, just does evil things for work because that's his job basically, and gives you some sympathy, but also gives you an interesting kind of character to him with all his action and just how he fights everyone. Sort of this personality of him being a good father but also being a sort of cruel warrior, and I like it. At number 17 we have Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo. So Kylo Ren comes at number 17 because although he's I'm not gay, a pretty attractive man and a pretty intimidating villain, well, when he's in the mask, he isn't really that much of an intimidating and interesting character. He is an interesting character, the emotional weight he has with his connection to Vader, with his sort of not understanding where he should lie between Snoke and his parents and Luke and everything, and just how he's just how everything went wrong for him. However, judging him as a villain, he is more he's not really intimidating that much. He is an interesting character, don't get me wrong, but I would say that when he's in the mask, he's more of that kind of person, but many people say they don't like that he dropped the mask in episode 8, and I don't want him to get back into the mask, because I think without the mask, he's kind of just like this man, this leader, but he shouldn't put it on again. So yeah. At number 16, we have Darth Maul. Yes, I know that you're probably disappointed that he's so low on the list, but this character, although he interests me, for me, that's my opinion, is the least interesting of all of them. I mean, like, seriously. So, second of all, Darth Maul is an interesting character. He has a pretty, just how he's introduced in the Sidious shot.
This is my apprentice, Darth Maul. He will find your lost ship.
Throughout the movie, with him being just this kind of a bit of a mysterious character who's threatening and obedient to his master Sidious, who is unexpected and always gives some twists to us throughout the movie, and it's a very good concept. However, I would say that he doesn't really interest me that much. His duel with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan was of course perfect, and he has this very menace to him, the Phantom Menace. But still, there's nothing really that adds a lot to his character and villainy. On number 15, we have Unkar Plutt. So Unkar Plutt was a plot. Remember that guy who basically Rey talked with, and who was basically her, how do you say it, boss when she was a scavenger? She gave him parts and he gave back portions.
What you brought me today is worth 1/4 portion.
Now, although this isn't completely a villain, I would rank him in that category. So here we are. Unkar Plutt is an interesting character. In fact, one of the ones I was most interested in knowing more about after I saw The Force Awakens. He has a unique design, basically a very good... he is a very interesting part of the story. Although he doesn't get much screen time, the parts that he is in are always spectacular, especially that deleted scene.
Hey! I'm not afraid of you. Half a Wookiee isn't much.
And it's bad that it was deleted. However, the character, although he's interesting, intimidating, he doesn't get that much story, but what he got was excellent, and he's just overshadowed by some other villains on this list. However, I would definitely say he's one of my favorites. At number 14, we have Captain Phasma. Now, although many think that Captain Phasma was underused in the movies, which it is true actually, I think, I still love the part she was in. Just from the very beginning of The Force Awakens, I just loved her brutality. How she was just this cold menace, just gave the order to kill all these civilians just with pleasure in her voice. And I love just how this evil thing with her, just how she's this brutal, cruel commander with nearly no mercy, and just how she walks always, just you see, she isn't how do you say, just messing around. She's seriously in war, and she's brutal, and I just love that aspect of her. Just how she seems to enjoy the pain of others, and just how this all makes her this very brutal and a sort of strict commander. At number 13, we have director Orson Callan Krennic, who was basically this director responsible for Stardust, aka the Death Star project, and appeared in Rogue One as one of the primary antagonists of that movie. Now, I absolutely love director Krennic. I mean, he's not my favorite villain by far, but he's an interesting one. Although he has some very, very funny scenes, some very interesting scenes, his dynamic, his character interactions with Tarkin is very interesting to watch and is like very well written. I absolutely love his introduction in the film, how just his uniform, his white cloak with the white jacket is very well done and a very interesting costume design, so props to the costume artists. And I absolutely just adore how he interacts with Vader, how he wants the Stardust project to be completely like everyone to know that he was responsible for it, not Tarkin.
Stand here amidst my achievement, not yours!
I just really like how Ben Mendelsohn played him. Some of the lines, just how he's this very sort of imperial agent who's kind of just this working man, and just his craziness, his normality, everything just mixes up into a great and well-written character with an interesting story arc. At number 12, we have General Armitage Hux. Hux is an interesting kind of character. He's this like very, how do you say it, proud and very kind of selfish and yet very powerful military leader. Of course, he can't match Tarkin, but he's an interesting guy. He has this very, how do you say it, proudness and sort of cockiness to him. He's so like, I of the First Order, and at one side he's despicable. However, he's also a very interesting and powerful character, and also has a very interesting dynamic with Kylo Ren. He is also a comedical character in The Last Jedi, especially, with sort of being the comedic relief for the moment.
Supreme Leader, don't get distracted. Our goal.
He works both as a comedic relief and an intimidating military leader.